Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. I am here today with what I think is kind of a fun video. I am currently live with Stasia right now doing reading sprints, but we are sprinting. I am muted, I think. Yeah, I am muted, but I wanted to sit down and film a video where I answered the question, did I read the 5 romance books that I put on my fall romance TBR? A couple months ago, probably in late September, early October, I posted a video talking about 5 romances that I wanted to read during the fall. They ranged in subgenres, and these were all books that I'd had on my TBR or that I had owned for a while and just hadn't got around to reading, so I made the video to motivate myself to read those books. I am very excited to say that I did read every single book from that TBR video. There were only 5 of them. I read them all by mid-November, so definitely taking that as a win. Today, I'm just going to run through all 5 of those books and give reviews on them. Some of them will be brief as I do have one reading vlog featuring a couple of the books, but consider this a 5 romance review video, a book review video, reviewing 5 romance books that I've read recently. I don't know what the title of this video will end up saying when I get it uploaded, but I will be talking about the same 5 books that I was going to read in that fall romance TBR video. I'll have it linked above and tagged below if you do want to go back and watch it and then come back here and listen to my final thoughts. But if not, you can just consider this, yeah, my 5 reviews of these books. The first book that I read from this list was Medicine Man by Saffron A. Kent. This is a psychiatrist/patient romance. It does take place in a psychiatric hospital about this young girl named Willow, who I believe is 18 or 19. She has been placed into this hospital for, I want to say, 2 or 3 months because she or everybody around her thought that she attempted suicide. She ends up falling for her psychiatrist, who is this broody man with a past. We love him. I don't remember what his name is. His name is Simon, and they very much have a forbidden relationship. There's an age gap going on, and we get some chapters from Simon's POV as he talks about his history with the hospital, but also with his dad, and some of the trauma that he has because of his father. And I thought this one was a fun one. I gave it 4 stars. Not the best romance that I've read. I will say it very much felt like a young adult perspective because it is about an 18-year-old girl or 19-year-old girl, I don't remember. So it felt very immature at times, but also like it was addicting. I did tab this one, and I did end up having a lot of fun with it. I will have a list of trigger warnings for this book in the description down below, as there are definitely some of those in this book. I think its illustrated cover as well is a lot of fun. I love it much more than the original cover, which I think is kind of ugly. Very much a fan of the hardback illustrated covers that are becoming more popular, and I would overall recommend this one. So I guess that's all I have to say for this one. I gave it 4 stars. It's been a bit since I've read it, but I do remember really enjoying it by the end of the book. The next book that I have on this list is A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. I did own this book, but I ended up selling it after I finished it. I did give this one 4 stars. I, again, really enjoyed it. Again, we'll have the trigger warnings for it down below because there are definitely those in this book. This is about a trans main character who died in the war and became alive as herself, her real self. She has an ex-best friend whose name I don't remember, but he believes that his best friend, whose name is Violet, he believes that she is dead. They end up reconnecting, but he doesn't realize, I forget what his name is, it's gonna bother me. The main character, that was kind of like repetitive. Anyway, the male main character doesn't know that she, Violet, is his old best friend. If I knew his name, it'd be so much easier to talk about, but I don't remember, and I'm not gonna look it up. Anyway, when things do eventually get uncovered, Violet does not believe that Simon could ever really love her for who she is, because he doesn't understand like everything that she has gone through, but the main character, the male main character, wants a chance with Violet. So there's lots of pining, lots of angst, there's lots of background between the two. We had some really fun side characters in this one. I will say that I was confused for a little bit at the beginning of this book. I think that was in part because I had the audio and I was listening to it like when I was going to and from work, so I didn't have physical pages in front of me to kind of go back and reference. But once I got into it, I did really enjoy this one. I thought it was very sweet. It was very slow burn, which is not always my thing, but I did enjoy this book. Gave it 4 stars. It's a historical romance. That is probably important to note. It is very much giving off historical romance vibes from the cover. So definitely not like the most popular romance subgenre, but I love a good historical romance and would definitely recommend this one. If you like Alexis Hall, or if you want to start diving into the historical romance genre, would recommend this one as a good starting point because it has got a little bit of everything. There's humor and, you know, heart and sadness and grief and anger and frustration, and there is some good steam in it, but nothing like super over the top if that's not what you're looking for. So that's this one. I did tear up at the end of it. I thought it was very, very well done. I really enjoy Alexis Hall's writing, and yeah, would recommend this one. Next, I read Twisted Games by Anna Huang. This is the second book in the Twisted series. This one follows Bridget, who is a princess, and her bodyguard, whose name is Reese. And again, I struggled with this one in the beginning. There's very much a forbidden element going on and some hate to love because Reese and Bridget hate each other from the start. She is stubborn, he is stubborn. They just fight all the time. But the chemistry between them is definitely still there. I did like this one. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. It was fun. I'm trying to figure out if I actually like this one more than Twisted Love, which is the first book in the series, and I also gave this one 4 stars. I don't know if I like this one any better. It was long. It's much longer than Twisted Love, which I think is part of why I didn't fall head over heels with it. I'm not always in love with romances that are over 350 pages. I thought this one was very long at times and I was bored at times. And also the timeline and plot of the story were very fragmented, especially in the beginning. We were jumping like weeks ahead in their relationship with just like little paragraphs taking place in between each, like, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. Like, let me see if I can find an example in the book really fast. So like, for example, at the beginning of chapter 6, it says trial month 1. Now, this is like when they're going through and trying to figure out what the rules of their relationship are going to be in terms of like him being her bodyguard and what she is and is not allowed to do under his watchful eye. But then this chapter is like 2, 3, 4 pages long, and then we get to trial month 3. So we jump like months ahead, and I thought that was kind of not confusing, but just it felt very choppy to me for a minute. But the second half of the book got better with that. I do think that Reese is pretty amazing, and I do love him dearly. Gave this book 4 stars. Again, really enjoyed it. I am on a trend with 4-star books. We love to see it. The last 4-star book that I had from this list is Wicked Lies Boys Tell by Kay Webster. This is a male-male romance. It's ex-best friends, second chance. Penn, I think. Penn has known that he's loved Cope for years, ever since he tried to kiss his best friend. And yeah, Copeland is very much against a relationship with Penn, or even against friendship for a minute. He's convinced that he does not have feelings for his best friend. Turns out, obviously, he does. It is a romance, and they end up going on this forbidden relationship because their dads are not accepting of them and they have to hide who they really are, and it's just full of drama and heartache. I will say about this one as well, Copeland and I did not get along for a hot minute. He was annoying and he was too aggressive with Penn, in my opinion, especially considering their history, but there was a lot of growth between Cope as an individual, but also with Penn, and I did end up really enjoying this one. Kay Webster definitely writes very quick reads, so I read this book in like 2 days when I was sick with the flu a couple months ago. I guess that was just last month. But anyway, it's been a little bit since I was sick, but I did read this one very quickly, very addicting, very much something that I had fun with and want to pick up more books by the author. Finally, the book that wrecked the 4-star, pretty good reads trend, yikes, was Misfit by Elle Kennedy. Now technically I gave this book 3 stars. So not terrible, not amazing, but I'm kind of leaning toward, and have been since I finished the book, giving this one 2 stars actually. That's only because I still think about it and I'm still mad. I do have a reading vlog where I read this book and Wicked Lies Boys Tell. I'll have it in the description down below as well as tagged above as always. And so you can see more of my thoughts about this one too. But this book, oh my goodness. I finished it and I was so mad. I say that like 8 times, 9 times in my reading vlog where I read this one, and I'm just still not over it. This is about Sloane, who is the headmaster's daughter at this all-boys school. She's kind of forbidden from hanging out with most of the boys, but when this new guy named RJ ends up at the school for his senior year, there's chemistry naturally. This boarding school, however, for boys is for rich delinquents. So it's all these boys who've been expelled or kicked out of their old schools and make their way here. It's expensive, it's elite, but they all end up like doing well, I think, once they graduate because of, I don't know. Somehow it works and they are like all rich boys. Anyway, so Sloane and RJ are having this thing going on while we're also getting POVs from some of their friends, Fenn, Silas, Lawson, and I think maybe a couple chapters from Sloane's sister's POV, and that was where things started to kind of fall off the wagon for me. I thought going into this one, Misfit, that it was going to be a romance between Sloane and RJ. And while yes, that is definitely there, that's not all that happens. And it's not just like one book. This is a first book in a series. This book ends on a cliffhanger, and I was not expecting that from this. And maybe that's my own fault for not expecting it, but I am not happy, and I'm still not happy, and I'm just kind of bummed out. So I feel like while Sloane and RJ were kind of a focus of this one, there was also this very much like, what's the word I'm looking for? Focus again, I guess, on all of the drama going on with their friends and other relationships, and Lawson has problems, and like Silas has problems, and Fenn has problems, and they all have got issues. And I don't know, I felt like it was kind of chaotic, and the ending again made me mad. So not sure if I would recommend this one. The second book does come out in February, and I think it could answer all my questions. But right now, I'm ticked off. They've apparently changed the cover for this book, so the sequel isn't even going to match. I'm not even going to buy it, I don't think. We're just going to listen to the audio, because that's what I ended up doing for this first book, and it just sold on Pango last night, so it's out of my hands officially, thank goodness. But yeah, that was this one. Yikes. That was kind of harsh, but I don't really care that much. Alright, kind of rushed maybe, I don't know, but I don't really remember some of these books very much anymore. Yikes, minus the fact that I enjoyed them, especially the ones that I tabbed. They're just so pretty. But anyway, these are the 4 books that I read for this fall romance TBR video, as well as A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. Overall, very successful. I had a lot of fun with these and would recommend most of them. Maybe not Misfit by Elle Kennedy, but whatever, it's fine. Like I mentioned, I will have the trigger warnings for these books down below if you want to check them out but are unsure what the content warnings might be for them. I do like to have them accessible for anyone who might stumble across my videos. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.